Hey, what's up? This is Tap with POAPathon, and we're about to throw.
Impressed with the level of artistry that we have just within POAPathon. Like, the artists are amazing.
We've decided to host a 24-hour event. It is going to run continuous around the world.
So y'all like, share, subscribe, send this out to everybody y'all know. This is episode 0, but we here. Groundbreaking.
Let's go. Confirmed. So if we don't get sponsors, we ain't going to have those POGs and POAPs at ETH Denver. If you would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to myself via Twitter or on the POAPathon Discord. You can also confirm your sponsorship via our website at POAPathon.com. When it says, click a design, that big old button on the front of our website, click that and it says POGs, I believe is right there. You'll do that, fill it out, make a payment, and we'll start on your POG design. There are four different levels, and each one has different things. Individual spots, friend spots, DGen, and whale. We need more of those spots filled out or else this isn't going to happen. If you cannot sponsor a POG itself, you can help by buying a shirt. The shirt, 12% of those proceeds go back to POAPathon to help with the POGs and POAPs venture, as well as the Cryptogs, frog in my throat. Cryptogs, the shirt is available at ultrasoundmerch.com. So, the riff.
Helps if I unmute. All right. Gonna be one of those shows. Get ready.
Yep.
Buckle up. We got to talk about the other side. As you predicted, genetics was a little crazy.
It was crazy.
It was so crazy. There were Gway Wars.
The Gway Wars. The great Gway Wars of 2022.
I think that was it. Yes, that is exactly the situation. So I just pulled this up, which I thought was really interesting. And then out a little bit. These were the recent high sales for Otherside land. 333 ETH is the highest sale so far, then 300, then 280. And it is like, this is getting crazy, along with all these cute little codas. So I just have to ask, like, what did you think of all this crazy Otherside insanity, folks?
I just wonder who are those people that can afford 333 ETH? Like, where do these people exist and why are we not friends?
I know.
Doreen, Doreen, owner of Ape.
Yes.
What did
you
tell us your take on all this?
Yeah, so I was in the V Friends, the clubhouse room, like for hours. Like I literally fell asleep listening to them kind of talk about sort of what their moves were. And you guys might know Kevin. He's just really this very, very bright guy. Like his mind's like a computer. So sort of seeing the ROIs, and some people like Lauren, the opera singer, she was in there. Mel was there. So Ian. So there were these lot of folks that were just, I was sort of being able to share the experience with. So what was my experience? My experience was like, I didn't KYC. So I was just waiting on the secondary to see if I could grab one. Right. And I saw the prices come in at 15 and then watched it sort of just go down, like really methodically go down. It got to like 8 and one of the V Friends, grabbed one and paid a ridiculous amount of money in gas. I actually snagged one at 4.9. Right now, don't forget, like being an
That's
Ape,
pretty good.
We got all of this Ape coin that was sort of just handed to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I liquidated to sort of, make it all happen. I probably, I paid something like 1.4 in gas.
Wow.
And just kind of called it a day, and I just said, listen, this is what I sort of expected. This is what,
that what you planned for?
I
like
budgeted,
thinking ahead?
right? And I just sort of said, I feel like, missing out on the moonbirds or things like that. Like when you see them, if you only had 2.5 ETH and, kind of got lucky, but still like missing those opportunities also, provides sort of a lot of pain. I don't know if equal to gas pain, but it just, it ended up working out fine. I generally hold things, right? And I like, including my serum, like I haven't mutated my Ape, right? So
you have a serum?
I have a serum from just the, so I got my Ape when it was like in June 1st last year, 0.99, after the crazy sort of V Friends auction, which I went all in on. And I kind of was like this exhausted human after that auction of watching it so closely. And it really like kind of ended near when the apes were on the secondary and it started to sort of heat up. And it was either that, an ape or a me bit with sort of my ETH dust that I had in my wallet left over from VFriends. And I happened to pick an ape, and I don't have a rare ape. I have a very simple, like, I think he's number like 9,992 or something on the rarity tools. He's got this
Cute though.
little
I've seen
sailor
him.
hat on.
He's cute. He's got the
kinda
sailor hat.
crying.
That's surprising.
Yeah, right.
That he's
And
not
so-
higher
And
ranked.
again,
He's
like
got a cute
now
little
that
hat.
you right, and then the board
Perfect
ape
for
on
the
the
cape.
cape, right? We're sort of
Perfect.
so now I'm just like, wait a minute. That was the other day. I was like, wait a minute. Like we could like do something here. So I've just sort of sat and held and kind of reaped the benefits of sort of everything happening around me, you know? And yeah, that serum sort of sits there. If I don't use the serum, then I don't get like another land. And if I don't, you know, and I don't get that 2000 ape coin, like, so it's sort of, but like they're priced at almost 15 ETH higher than a mutant ape. So I was holding and just trying to like get advice about what to do. And I think that I'll probably end up mutating it and then getting the land and just holding and sort of seeing what happens. I mean, you know, I know there were a lot of people that were really upset, certainly that they didn't get one. And I don't understand the coding and the contract enough to sort of comment on,
Yeah, that's a little
you know,
tough
what
to
went wrong
understand.
there. But
Right.
I didn't feel so great the next day. I definitely had this like weird little hangover from the night. And I didn't drink at all. We had no rum.
That's
And so I just
interesting.
sort
Yeah,
of-
it's the
yeah.
emotional. It's an emotional hangover. I've
Yeah.
had those.
Yeah.
Where
I-
you had
you're not
nothing
the only
to drink, but you're
Yeah.
just like I'm just wiped.
Yeah, Right. And you know,
emotional
feeling everybody
hangover.
else and everybody else's emotion. So like I kind of was quiet in the room. I snuck in for one point and I said, I got one at 4.9. I paid this in gas. And then I just sort of stayed silent because there were a lot of people that were upset in the room and then came in the room and that were upset. So like, you know, it's sort of like having an ape is like, it's amazing, but it also sort of doesn't really match. So I'm not a flashy human, right? So I'm not driving a nice car or any of those types of things. So it's sort of like throughout time, I feel like I've had to become a little bit more humble, like about the whole experience, truly,
Yeah.
you know?
That's
Yeah,
so
Is there an
interesting.
aftermarket
I
for the
love
serum
that,
as
like
well?
humble ape. Like you're not a super flex person, so it's like
Yeah.
it's really interesting. The humble ape is almost like that should be a name for you too. I feel
Right.
like.
That you should make there should be a club called the Humble Apes because
Yes.
I have seen there are two
Those
sides
normal,
of the apes.
the normal apes.
Yeah.
Really.
I've been watching from the outside. I'm not an ape holder, but I do know ape holders, and I have seen the two sides of ape holders. The ones that are like 10 ETH ain't nothing, you know, drop in the bucket, and then I've seen the other side of it that are the ones that are like, you know, we were here for the previous gas wars. We've seen it before. We've known what it can do, and that we could have prepared for this better. And that, you know, this was supposed to be an entry spot for people to get into Yuga Labs, and it ended up not being that. And so I think Humble Apes would be a great thing to start pumping.
Yeah. I mean, again, I you know, again, it just feels through time, like right at the beginning, it was like, oh, like it was kind of like the Mauries where you're like ape follow ape, like you're, you know, but the price really drives the type of community that it is and who now is in the community. And like I definitely see me like rolling with Justin Bieber or Steph Curry or those guys.
Paris Hilton.
Right?
No,
You know, maybe
really?
at VCon I'll, you know, be able to say hi to Snoop.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
but I
say,
just
at VCon,
kinda,
you can,
you
you know, hey Snoop, here's my ape. Hi ape. Yeah.
yeah, he was just on with like Kelly Clarkson, right? With an ape doing something on his shirt.
Yep.
That was
amazing.
my big thing. I'm like, going to VCon, I'm coming for you, Snoop. I'm gonna find you. Like, my goal.
I have to, you know, that's why my name is V Dizzles after
Mhm.
you know, love him.
Absolutely. That's so funny. Yeah, so I was really shocked at the gas war. Like I haven't seen anything like that level of like crazy gas war. I was looking at the numbers. I'm like, I didn't know they could go that high. Like,
No.
what is
And
happening right now?
The amazing thing is that the network stayed up.
Yeah.
It did not crash. So, I mean, thank you, devs and everyone on that side.
Yeah, thank you, Ethereum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. I mean, everybody that's like, you know,
we're gonna give Superfizz a little shout out.
I know.
Thank you, all you
like
stakers
Superfizz.
doing that hard work there.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
The amazing thing is that the people that aren't on the NFT space, that don't have any clue what is going on in the NFT space, that didn't know that this drop was happening, when you watched it from the Reddit side, they were like, what's happening? Why is gas doing this? And then they like, suddenly they were all like Googling, like, you know, what's happening? And then it was revealed, oh, there's an NFT drop. And then they were like, go, 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 because they were watching gas go, you know, and they were super excited. But gas got up to 8,000 Gwei.
Wow.
8,000. And if you guys don't know, the highest I believe that it got was $180,000 million.
Wow.
180 million dollars.
It's a lot.
$180 million worth of ETH was burned.
And you know, it would be, you know, people sort of talking about like, you know, wouldn't that be nice? That could like feed a small country. It's really true. Like if you sort of think of it in a macro way like that. You know, I'm not sure what's happened behind the scenes. I don't know if, I know that all the floors dropped like in a crazy way. I was seeing VFriend 2s at like 0.4. People were like those, whatever those pre-mint passes were, that project, those were at 1. So people were like in the chat room, just, you know, Kevin again was looking at all these sort of things. And then the coda reveal,
I think a lot of people were liquidating too.
Yeah.
Like, so the ones who were trying to buy liquidated a ton of stuff early. So all the floors came down because they were trying to sell quickly, and it got crazy.
So that was also
it was interesting to see the ripple effect on the whole ecosystem.
Oh yeah. And I think we'll continue to see that ripple effect through the next couple of weeks. And I think it will be interesting to see if, you know, it's like when the Kevins reveal, or the Kevin reveal, right? Oh,
The Kevin.
When Kevin was revealed, what happened to other projects, right? And we're still seeing the ripple effects of the Kevin. So it will be interesting to see the ripple effects of this metaversal reveal. And I am definitely interested, especially with their teasing of Ape Chain.
I thought that was, I heard an interesting take on that where, oh, you know, because of this, we really should launch our own Ape blockchain. And I thought, okay, you don't just come up with that off the top of your head. And I saw somebody else make a comment like, that was the plan all along. Like, that was probably the plan all along.
That quote came out that same night because Kevin in the chat room was reading it. And then someone thought it wasn't real. Like they're like, oh, that's a spam or something. But then the next day I read it, and that was a lot of sort of people were like, they did this on purpose. People weren't happy about that piece either.
Yeah. I think there's just a lot of feeling.
A lot of feeling
ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of feelings, and for so many different things. Like I think this has been like a big event in our ecosystem that I think we'll be talking about for a long time and looking back at and going, okay, remember when this happened, and then all these other things came after. For good or for bad, you know, we'll see what happens, but crazy. Any other, hey, Beastadon, any thoughts on any of this before we switch
well, I
gears?
just know that my Twitter feed was full of it. I mean, every possible perspective. I couldn't avoid it. And I ended up in so many threads, just reading everyone's responses. It was wild. I thought it'd be great to talk about today. I mean, there was so much response, positive, negative, people trying to get their friends onboarded into an NFT community that kind of, you know, it didn't work out so well. So just a lot of emotion.
A lot of feelings to digest and a lot of indigestion.
You know, I don't know if that would have been my choice of a project to onboard someone with. Right. It seems like really, you know, it felt like that's something where you feel like it was a gold rush day. Like it was a gold rush moment. Everyone just sort of abandoning everything, selling everything off so they can sort of, get to California. It just really did feel that way.
That's a great point. It definitely felt that way. And it was interesting to watch from afar, but at the same rate, like all those criticisms went through my head too, of like, you guys could have done this better. Like you didn't have to do it this way. It was very easily could have done a pre-mint list and called it a day. And let people mint for a week or whatever, so that you can gas wars. So but hey, congratulations to the miners.
Seriously,
We hope you like Florinouns. Come see us. We'll be minting
one-on-one art.
Now that you have all the one-on-one, the one-on-one art, like all you miners who now are, newly rich from all the gas.
Speaking to that, Prof, you've been working on, you mentioned Florinouns there.
Yeah. So we're launching our class project this week. So if you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, please do. I have a few more POAPs that are going to go out, and that actually gives you pre-sale access. So we're excited to be launching, and this is what my hat is. This is one of our merch pieces that's coming soon with our blue-green Nouns glasses. So I'm excited. It's coming to fruition, which is truly amazing. The students have worked really hard on this, and I've been so impressed. Like I've been sharing some sneak peeks of some of the work that they've done in terms of the art, and it's just blowing my mind. And in terms of behind the scenes in the tech space, students who knew very little about blockchain and had done no development in it are now creating a whole mint page in a smart contract and all those things. So that's exciting to see that all come to fruition. Is really fun. So so that's coming soon. Before we move on from the riff, any other comments about Otherside before we go to the other side of the riff? I missed that. I was right there, and I just
low-hanging
right
fruit.
There.
Low-hanging fruit.
Right there was low-hanging fruit, and I missed it. I had to circle back to it. Any other comments about our friends, the apes?
No,
What do you guys think? Oh, sorry. Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the only thing I've ever had come close to anything like that was back when I had minted Oniforce. Oniforce gas at that time was up to like 7,000, 8,000 Gwei. But at that time, what I paid in gas was 0.7 ETH in gas. So that was still a lot. That was like a lot back then. But I mean, those are not the numbers that compared to this drop here with the Bored Apes. So that was the closest thing I got to something like that.
Doreen, what were you going to say too?
I was just, I was going to first just ask your vote whether or not I should drink my serum or not, because like there's a little spot in that video that says, when he drinks the serum, but then like it says don't drink. So that was a little interesting, but I also just want to get your thoughts. Like, what do you think's going to happen? Like everything's kind of plummeting. Ape coins at 15. The apes have gone down from like 150 to 115 or whatever. Like everything's really.
I think there's been a shift in where the money's going. Like, so people who were buying a ton of ape coin for a little bit because they were going to buy Otherside land. It's like now they've got the ones who couldn't mint have like an extra ape coin. They're just selling off. So I think that's why you're going to see that plummet. And then I think it might start to go back up. So it'll be interesting to see. In terms of I don't know if you should drink that. Like, I don't know. That's too much pressure. I can't make that decision. You're trying to just push off the decision because you don't want to make it either.
Isn't the serum itself worth like 5 to 7 ETH?
Yeah.
So the serum itself, I have the little like test tube is worth like last week it was 55 ETH.
Wow.
The serum. Wow.
Yeah.
Just the serum.
Now it dropped to like 46. It was today. But like you have to kind of compare it to the mutants, right? Which for some reason, whenever like they both go up together, and it feels like the serum is always like at least 10 ETH more than the mutant.
I don't know. I probably would have sold that serum so long ago. I think I would be awful at like I am so impressed with apes who have held this long, anything. Like, it's amazing to me
Yeah.
because I'm like, I would have sold so long ago. And
I
that's
thought
why-
about it for sure.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know?
if you're looking at that much each for the serum, I don't know. It's such a hard call.
Yeah.
Because you also get special land in Otherside, right? With
Mhm.
mutant
Exactly.
slime.
Yep.
So
So you got to, I guess, do all the numbers. There's other people that are sort of like talking about like, what do they do? I think we have like 21 days. So I'll keep you guys posted. I would do it on a POAPathon if you guys wanted me to sweep in, and if I decided
wow.
to, sure.
oh, if you decide to do it, we are, yes. Clear the decks. That's happening.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
100.
I'd be
Stream
totally.
it.
I wish I was prepared. We could have probably done today.
Oh my
My
God.
girlfriend
that would
Sarah
be
is like,
crazy.
you are doing it. Don't be crazy. Like, you know, like she's and Kevin, even my friend Kevin was like, I think it's in your best interest to do it. So it's
And
gonna
I think you got
happen.
to do it. I think you got to go with her. Like, if she says,
Yes.
I think do
you're
it.
Right.
And let's, oh my God, we'd love if you decide to, like, over
Yes.
here
Definitely.
every
You got
Tuesday.
it. Great
And of
idea,
course, we'd
Val.
have a POAP to commemorate that, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Of
We'd have to
course.
have a co-op for
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
with the
again, like, I
test
mean,
tube
I
and the
wish I
thing
had
and the-
today's because it has the
We could
my
even
ape on it.
we could do a POAP after the fact, so we get a picture of your new mutiny
Love
on
it.
there.
I love
Yeah.
POAPs.
That's amazing.
Very cool.
All right, so we got to shift gears and talk about A Bug Travels Far, because I want this.
Yes.
We need to talk about that. So let me just pull up a couple quick things so we can show our guests what we're talking about here. Our viewers. If you are not familiar with A Bug Travels Far, you are in for a big delight here.
Aw.
Because it's an amazing children's book series. But can you tell us a little bit about like how this came about for those who don't know, and then what do you have going on now?
Yes.
I'm just going to flip
Okay.
through some quick slides here so that everyone can kind of see.
Yeah,
what's
that's so
happening.
awesome. Thank you so much for having that. Like, that's the best.
Yeah, it looks so.
this,
It's
you know,
so adorable.
it's
So adorable.
It's been like so fun. I'll be really, you know, years and years ago when my children were small, you know, we would be in the car and there'd be a bug jumping in the car, like flying or crawling or wherever we were. And it would be a commotion. And then, I was a jingler. So like when the kids were very little, like babies, I would always be making up songs. So then immediately a song came up about the bug in the car. And then it just carried out. And, everyone I would talk to, I'd be like, I have like lists. I love lists. And so my friends all know me for my lists. And I would always just sort of say like, on my ideas list, I'm like, I'm writing that book someday. I'm like, it's so, it would be such a good series. It could be any type of car and any type of bug, like anywhere in the world.
So
This is
this
so
has
great.
been like in your mind for a while.
A
then.
long,
I didn't
long
realize it'd been
time.
that long.
Yeah,
That's
and of
crazy.
course, like those things get pushed to the side as all life happens, and but COVID came, and all of a sudden I was sort of hustling, working 2 full-time jobs, just because I really love the work. I work with people with disabilities. That's my like sort of main career. And I was working for the social rec organization, and I was working for this sort of my housing organization that I work for now. And I just love them both. So I had no time, it was just a constant hustle. And then, I lost one of the jobs due to like the program not continuing due to COVID. And it was time. And I remember listening to my favorite radio station in Boston is 104.1 Mix. And these 4 DJs are just a riot. And they kind of kept like a rhythm of our life going. And so then I started writing. I just kind of like sat down, I started writing. And really soon into writing, I hired an illustrator. I found an illustrator on Upwork. I'm going to start this by saying like, for such a like Web3 high tech like place that we're in, like it's very like Web3 degen. Also how like all the pieces were just really gritty and like grassroots, like hiring my first illustrator on Upwork,
It seems
hiring
like
all
that's
my,
how most of the projects and some of the best projects come about, is that like pulling together all
Yes.
these resources from this idea.
and again, I also will say that just like anybody, once I had that first manuscript written, I sent it to all these sort of publishers that were accepting debut children's book author, manuscripts. And I probably sent them to maybe 15 or 20. And, of course, thinking like one of them's going to hit. Like, I had little, like, I remember I sang the song into like one of those like easy buttons and mailed that off to like one place. But like when they didn't call, it was like, okay, well, I don't care. I'm still going to like go forward, and we're going to just self-publish, and maybe it'll take years to do this, but we're just going to go forward. So then I started researching like the self-publishing companies, and landed on Mill City Press, which I just really fell in love with their website that kind of just gives like, kind of like Gary Vee, like it's trying to just give us everything, like all the tools, like here's everything, like go and take it and run. And this website sort of, I felt like it was just giving us all the, right?
It's such a great opportunity right now that you're able to, like, as a creator, like take these resources and run with them and create the thing that you've thought about for how long?
Yeah.
Like, how long did you think about it? That's amazing.
Like 6 or 7 years, maybe even longer, maybe 10. That bug in the car and the song. And I probably could go back into my old videos as I added verses or little things to it and find like little, like I should put together a little compilation of like how the song evolved, right? And then
You
again,
should.
so
that would
then
be
there's
so
some
cute.
more, like, yeah, that
So
would be a
cute
good
to see
one.
like the
Yeah.
evolution.
It would be really funny. I'm gonna write that down. I'm definitely doing that.
You
Definitely
gotta do
doing
that. That'd be
Yeah.
cute.
Yes. And I love that it kind of started with like a song, like, because that's very me, right? It's like, all these little things. And then, I started writing, I hired this illustrator. And then like then Gary Vee sort of popped, and I started a Twitter account. And then all of a sudden Gary Vee like was on my TikToks, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, he's like really aggressive about kindness. Like, I love this. Like, somebody needs to be like, all the great leaders are all very kind, but they don't really take on an aggressive approach to anything. But
It's
taking
really funny. I hear the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again, where people go at first, they're like, who is this guy? What is he like? I don't, and then,
Right.
and sometimes he really rubs people the wrong way at first, and they like,
Yep.
It like takes, for some people, for me especially, like it took a while for me to like,
Yeah.
go, oh, you might have something to say that I need to listen to. Like, it just took me a minute because the approach was like off-putting. But it's,
Yeah, I loved it. I was like,
Yeah,
whoa, this
yeah.
is, but I understand that I have had a lot of friends where I'd send those videos, and maybe they, they think what they think, right? And and he even, he says that all the time. That's why all these characters, he's trying to get his message out, not always having to be the front man, So I found, I just, again, I really like, and then he started doodling, and he started doodling bugs. And as I'm, tweeting, not a lot, once in a while I'd tweet, and then I'd retweet his like doodle of the fly and the bee. And it was like, wow, like, and I kind of didn't really know too much about NFTs, but I wanted to know. And, again, I sort of just followed along, learning what I could. And then, I feel like once you sort of get the bug, like the like bite where you're like, this is okay, I get the money thing, I get the crypto thing. Now I'm really interested in this. And you kind of come down the hill. Like, of course, unfortunately, I was the only one in my life that sort of knew anything about this. And so I felt like a little alone. And again, VFriends interrupted the sort of writing a little bit because I was so sort of focused on learning about the space that I kind of stopped the writing. But then like in August, we went to Martha's Vineyard, and my son and I went fishing. And I remember having some time on my hands and writing like book 2. And then a lot of changes sort of happened. Like, it was going to be 6 books. He was going to go all the way across the country and come back. But I'm like, he's going to go from Boston, get caught in a car, go to Boston to New York, airplane back to Boston, a bus trying to get back to the game. And I won't give away too much, but, like, obviously interacting with other bugs and humans along the way. And then, the NFT part has been really fun because that whole IP, right? So any of my crypto Mories can be in there. And I'll tell you, just to start, a little bit about the ape. Okay. So the opening scene in the book, or soon in, is my son's name's Nate. So he's sort of one of the characters, and he's swatting a tie, just like he may have been doing back when he was 5. And on the top of the book, I had my ape. I was like, ooh, that's a great, but then I was like, what if I need to sell that ape? Like, I don't know what would happen. And it's just was so unclear that I changed it. And I put my Avastar on it, which I love. And I love Jimmy Eats so much that I feel like also he was kind of that originator of that IP, like you do what you want with it. So it was like a little shout out to him. And so on the book, on both sides of the book are my two like Avastars. And I felt financially, at least at this time, was a little less risky than the ape, my only ape, right? And so like that IP thing is really interesting. Now though that they've given us this ape coin, I may add him to the end of the book because like I don't know if I'm ever gonna sell him.
That's true. Like it's
Right?
a hard call. So you know what's interesting? You could add any nouns in there that you wanted. You could add any cryptodes that you wanted. They're all CCO. They're all copyright. They're Creative Commons 0, so they're copyright free. So you
I'm looking into that.
Any flora nouns you can throw in there, all those things. So yeah,
Yeah, and, you know,
just
listen,
keep that in mind. Should you need like, you know, something different, add a little cryptode like, you know, on the ground somewhere.
Yeah, and listen, I will say that, you know, we talk about all these giant projects that are like awesome in the IP, but a really nice special thing that's also come with that is being able to like my fellow V friends like Miss Manda, Memento Mori, Tim Livingston, who does the vector bots, like they're all giving me pieces to put in. And then, you know, I have a couple of friends, Hash Bastards and my friend Mobius Strip, right? They're buddies of mine, and they've given me permission to like put a couple of theirs in. So throughout all the books, I have my Fame Lady in there. So like, I really like, I love my big projects, but I really honor my one-of-one artists, the collections. You know, I would love to put one of my Tatiana, who has that Hippo Tales project. I love her project. And I love that they're like V friends. Like any chance I get to like grab a V friends project, I really, again, I feel like that's really where my jam is, you know? So it's just been really fun to.
It's your family. It's your extended family.
Yes. You know, and again, for the book to evolve, for me just writing the story to all of a sudden it, you know, being able to put NFTs, making into NFTs, and then to put other NFTs in it, it's just, again, the timing's incredible, right? It just kind of all, you know, evolved really, really well. It's been fun.
Love it. And I love my I have the fly, but he's not on my screen. That's the one that was airdropped, and I love it because he's so colorful. So I have.
Oh yes.
And I know he's the bully. He's the bully, right?
Yeah, he's one of the bullies. Yeah. You know, we'll see how they evolve like throughout the series. Like, so we've just launched book one. Book one is like about half minted. I kind of see the NFT project as like an accessory to the book, like for some early supporters to kind of get in. We've gifted so many tokens. At the end of the show, I'm gifting all of your hosts a token. Anybody that's ever hosted me on the show or any show, like I gift them a token. It's just sort of, you guys are so part of my journey. So I've been able to like gift token. It's kind of like an accessory to the books. I try not to like worry too much about.
It's a way to bring people into your community too. And have them feel a part of, which is awesome.
And like, I'll be really honest too, in human services, it's just where I've lived my whole world. And I sort of sell, I guess, slots to, if people come into my houses that I oversee, if I have to like kind of match them, but it makes me really uncomfortable to sort of sell things to my friends, right? So that part of it's been a little weird to like accept people's money. And then, so like, you know, immediately I'm like, wait a minute, we've got to like give them tokens back. Like, what do you like, you know, so I feel like that's kind of, it feels more nonprofit-ish than like,
it's LLC. Like you just want to continuously add value when people are supporting you, which is lovely. I mean, that's what we should be doing, right? It's not the take, it's like, what can you bring to the party, not what can you take from the party, which is amazing. And I love that. Like when I was like, oh, and there's an airdrop. Oh, cool. You know, like so unexpected. Fun. I love that. You know, that's so fun when that happens. And I love projects who do that because you're giving your supporters just a little bit of a thank you. And that really means a lot. And I think that's what POAPs are great for too, honestly. Like, I think
giving back is huge.
That role. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I built a lot of my community just spending hours handing out POAPs one by one. I would do like a Twitter Spaces on Tuesdays and a Clubhouse on Saturday, and I would just be like, again, my partner would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "POAPing," and she'd be like, "Okay." Then Twitter would block me from because I said too many DMs, so I'd have to like pause and wait. But again, this is sort of the part of this that sort of makes me beam. Like I really do love the gifting and the giving, and I'm trying to get a mission. The mission is to enter more LGBTQ kid characters into children's literature. So we're a little behind as it is, like we're being just kind of marginalized. So to be sort of the gifter in that role is really powerful too, just trying to spread the word about the cause. And again, I hope that the stories are good enough that someday we can like make them into little mini cartoons. Who knows if someone like picks up on it. So the tokens being like the process. So we've got the sketch version of the characters and the pages, and then the clean line version, and then the full color. Like maybe people would try to collect one page or, a favorite character. But I love that piece of it, that we're sort of, if I could have the sketch of Mickey Mouse or even one of Gary's V friends, right? Hopefully if down the road Ty Fly's story is out there and gets big, then people might be interested in those, how we've designed the NFTs, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. That becomes the valuable collectible of your IP, right? Of your story. Right. That we get to actually collect it and be a part of it. And I think that's what I love about NFTs. It's a big piece of what I love about it is that feeling of connection. And I was just talking about this yesterday. Alyssa Jordan, Schroomper girl, zoomed into my class yesterday, and I asked the guest speakers who were there, like, give us 3 pieces of advice to my students who are, just entering this Web3 space. And that was one of hers that she mentioned was the connection and, becoming, she's like, not just being part of a community, but the connecting with the people within that community and having those genuine friendships, but also just like, there's something special about that when you're all kind of have that same mission, and that's it makes it very special and different. Very different from just buying a book, right? Completely different. I agree. I could just buy any book. I've never felt connected, right, to other people who have read the book, right? Like, different. It's even different than a book club.
I agree. That's really interesting. I've never really thought of it that way, but yeah.
I mean, I have a connection to your book. I'm part of it because my little NFT's in there, so yes. It just makes it special. So my NFTs that are on Cyber Gallery are also in a book. Like that's pretty cool,
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's like, I love that. And that's sort of exactly like the design of the project. So when I was a little kid, maybe you guys too, like there was that Highlights magazine. I'm sure you guys liked it. When I was born in 72. So my brother was 3 years older. So I probably was at the library when I was really little. And I don't think they have the same exact, like the hidden pictures. It was sort of like find the hidden objects, but like they had like a little piece of each scene in the front that you would flip through and be like, oh, that was, you'd be flipping back and forth. And that's kind of like the project, like whichever sort of piece you have, you could flip through and be like, oh, there's mine.
Be looking for it. Yeah. Yes. Be looking for like, oh, there's mine. And that's special to me. And oh, that page, that's important. And I see that a lot. Like anytime I've had times where other NFTs I have were like shouted out and by, the creator or something. And I'm like, that's mine, yes. That's mine that I picked. That's so special to me, it makes a big difference.
I agree.
It's a whole different level and it's very hard to explain.
I know, but like, it is something really there. Like I feel like when I was walking in the mall with my daughter and it was in the stores, like Ruminez, I forget the name of the store, but there was like these apes and I was just like it stopped me in my tracks. I was like, wait a minute. And they had all this merch, like I guess those 5 apes. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I see.
And I was just, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, what? And the clerks knew what I was talking about, and it was just a moment of just not even really about the apes, but it didn't matter if it was
You
more
feel
with women,
seen. You feel seen.
or just
you're
like that
"Oh,
we're getting there.
that's
like, we're
my
out there."
thing. Yeah,
Right.
I'm a part of that. Yeah.
Yes. I agree. And I feel like the memories that come with this time that we're all sort of beaming about, someday in 10 years, if you see that book, you open, the memories that will bring too might, that'll be special for us too, our OGs,
That's a great
Oh,
point.
for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you totally could have an animated series. Like, why not? Because
Yeah.
the one thing, you can create it yourself. You don't need Netflix to be on board. They can get on board later. Like when you finally, like you can just put it out there.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Nope,
that
just have
is
to-
definitely something. Like, I think all of us, maybe not all of us, but like when we're creators and we hope our thing is going to get picked up or our idea might get picked up, like we think of this like place in the clouds that would have to pick us up, this big corporation or Netflix, but it kind of like this project, hiring my illustrator Hugo Shee, which I've given giant shout out to. He's awesome. I invited him to VCon. I hope he comes. He's from Spain, so I don't know if he'll come. But I found him on Fiverr. So like, all of those sort of pieces, kind of just makes it mine. And you just what you said, like I could just do it myself. I could continue to just, hire the people I need to like give me the products or the labor of that sort. So I do feel like, although it feels very old fashioned how I'm pulling it all together, that old fashioned just kind of makes it mine, instead of like if it kind of takes my breath away if someone did pick it up, like Simon Schuster or Penguin Books, then I would have never had this experience.
That's a great point. Like,
Yeah.
it's so much more special because
Right.
you did do it yourself.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about book 2. Is that
Yeah.
when is that dropping?
So my illustrator, he's amazing. And always, he's very ambitious. So he's like, I'll have all those illustrations and up all the assets sort of like uploaded to the drive, but then like, something happens or we just sort of get a little bit delayed. I'm a little bit at the mercy of obviously of the illustrator. So we were really ambitious at first.
I currently feel your pain on that.
Yeah.
I feel your pain on that.
Tell me more.
Tremendously. I keep pushing things back with our
Yes.
mint because it's like not quite done. I want to perfect
Right.
this, or we still need 3 more of this type of noun, or like all those things. Absolutely. And it's like, yeah, do you jump or do you get it right? So we get it
right, and we get it right.
Gotta get it right.
So
it's on the blockchain. I'll keep going. It's on the blockchain forever. I need to get this right.
right, and like
on the
I
NFT
feel like
part of it.
also like enjoying the process. Like if my community is amazing and nobody's like mad or saying, oh, you're going too slow. Nobody's pressuring. Everybody's sort of, it's one of many projects that people are part of in most cases, right? So it's kind of like, and I've sort of just relaxed about it. I'm like, I'm not, what Gary Vee also says, like, enjoy the process. And that really it is so fun. Like just being here now, like every chance I get to kind of talk about it, talk about this with anybody, it's been, that's sort of just my advice. It's like, no, everybody's going to be super patient and super psyched, right, when it comes out. So I've been just enjoying the process. So we were going to try to do Friday the 13th for book 2, but I think it's going, and now I'm kind of contemplating, like, I don't want it to be during VCon. That doesn't feel quite right. I'm not really sure.
I think it probably won't. Well, I don't know. That could go either way.
Exactly.
That could go either way because you're going to be with a lot of people that you love and who love you and who want to support you and lift you up. So that might be a great thing. Or it could get drowned out a little bit by noise.
Yeah. So well, I'll be
could go either
honest
way.
too. I think, and my regrets about the first process was that I didn't release book 1 for free. Just like, come get a token if you're part of my community, like the whole pricing and all of that. I just was really inexperienced. So it might have gotten folks sort of like hooked. So I'm really seriously considering releasing book 2 for free. Holding like 200 special tokens for my first owners, the OG owners, and then just sort of like going out to all my different communities and saying, if you want to be a part of it, go mint. Like, you know, any, I don't know how that will, like, I wish right now I could be like, oh, you guys go mint a free token. Like, that would be kind of fun. And as I collect community members, you know,
I think, you know, I've seen that work out really well. Like when is for projects that are, you know, especially if you can do that from a funding perspective, I think it can build such great goodwill
yes.
that it can work out very, very well. So
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that, because you know Ron was like, so I work with the NF Daddies, they're the best.
yeah,
And he was like, I just want you to reconsider. You know, we can go as low as you want, but I don't know why he's saying that. Like, again, I like the idea of a unique free
you
mint.
could do both. I mean, you
Yeah.
could do a free mint with, you know, a allow list free mint at first for those, you know, special supporters who have been,
Right.
you know, you want to reward, and then you switch it up. So, you know, you can do both.
Yeah,
You
and
can do
that's
all the-
really good how they built the contract. Every book I can change sort of the price when we
Oh,
launch.
that's really
you know,
good.
so we have some flexibility there. So, you know, maybe the alpha of this room is like, I think I'm going to lean to doing it free. I just want to try it. I just want to see what happens. You know,
It's not a bad idea. I mean, that to me is like, you know, we talk about in my class all the time, MVPs, you know, minimum viable product. Sometimes you try
Right.
things, like sometimes you
Yeah.
prototype, like sometimes you see how it goes and then make a comparison.
Yes,
So, and it's great to be able to experiment in this space for sure. For sure.
definitely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so that's the
you
alpha.
should. I really do think you should give it out for free, and not only because I would like one, but also
Well, you're getting one.
but I just feel like that just creates a stronger community, right? Because you also get to get people who maybe couldn't afford one. You know, not everyone has the ability to
Yes.
transfer ETH and do that whole thing, and just have a crypto wallet and receive that as potentially their first NFT, and
Yes.
something that is just, it needs to be out there, right? You know, the message that you're sharing in these books need to be out
Yes.
there. So I think having this
Thank
collection
you for
free
saying
is
that.
great.
I really appreciate that. And I'm not surprised that I'm sort of getting like a lot of sort of good advice and guidance from this group. Like, so like, I love that. And again, it's really valuable for me. Yeah, I agree with
We are
you.
both
And the message is
we are both
important.
talk show and therapists. Yes.
Yeah,
We're both
it's
all the things today.
Yes.
we're here
So
for all
that's
the
great.
things.
Again, I'm glad I brought that up.
So I'm glad we worked this through.
Yeah, and I
It's gonna
think
be
that's really
amazing.
what I'm gonna do, and we'll see what happens. Like, I'm kind of like, well, would I be really embarrassed if like it doesn't mint out, even if I did for free? But then I'm just like,
Oh,
who
it'll mint
cares?
out for free. No question. No
Right.
question at all. Like, that's not even a question. But I think you can even, you know, do like a half and half, and you'll still do quite well with it. So
Yeah. I also
but
thinking
it's
about
amazing to like,
onboarding.
you know, hear the processes of founders and project leads, and hear what they're like thinking and going through. And a lot of times we're making decisions last minute, like, and you know, because of additional information that comes at us, and that's okay. It's
I
totally
can't
okay.
wait for your project.
I'm so excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited. I'm excited for the students too. They're really getting into it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do next. That's what I'm really, because some of them have just found like, oh, I can do this. Like, oh, I didn't think of myself as an artist. I didn't think of myself having this talent, or I didn't think that I could create a mint site, you know, and to have them like now have that confidence and like, let's see what you do next now that you got this, you know. That's going to be the fun part for me.
I think that's what's really fun about this space too, like just Web3 is like everything is just like so fresh and new, and like this is an opportunity for anyone to just really put themselves out there and try it out, and then you realize like you said, your students, I didn't know I could design this or I could do that. And I've been experiencing the same thing, like I didn't know I could be an entrepreneur. Like I'm exploring that right now, and it's so fun, you know. It's kind of scary because you're like, it's the unknown, but it's something new, and it's something that's out of the ordinary for your day-to-day life, right? Because before it's just like, you know, you go to work, you come home and whatever. But now it's like you add in Web3 and there's just like so many different avenues to discover and learn. And it's really fun, right?
Absolutely. And I think that we've, you know, for me too, it's made me more creative. It's just tapped into something that I can't even really explain because it doesn't make sense. Because the only thing I really make, well, besides a few of the nouns, I'm actually making myself too. But POAPs are pretty much, you know, my main level of creativity, but it's enough, like, to then spark other things. So it's really fun that this has brought this out of me as well. But it's really interesting to watch the students as they're kind of finding their way, right? It's really fun.
100.
We are running out of time, and I feel like we could talk for like 3 more hours and not miss a beat. But we gotta wrap up. It's about that time. So yeah,
this is so awesome.
This has been so much
grateful.
fun. Let me see if I can find, where the heck did I leave off on my slides? The background. Yeah, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
guys
with
so
us. And
It's
we're
been
so
awesome.
excited. If you are gonna drink some serum, you're gonna have to come back.
I'm
We
gonna
need
come
to
back
see
with the
that.
serum.
Yeah,
And
we're
you know, if
we're
you
gonna need to
guys
see
would,
that.
if you would welcome a token for me, I would love to send you a book token. I don't want to assume everyone has their things about their wallets, you know, so I would love to send you guys a token from book 1, which sort of like unlocks a lot of things. Like, it unlocks like getting all 4 books sent to you for free when they come out this summer, you know, probably some merch stuff that we're going to do down the road. You know, so like, again, like it's really interesting too. I
So
really
generous.
considered even switching from like an LLC to a nonprofit. It's
Not a bad
I don't
idea.
know. Like,
Yeah.
You might
Yeah, it
open
could
up, you know,
be.
that's a discussion I'd love to chat with you about, because I think that's
We
not a
should.
bad idea. We should talk because
You know, it's really interesting. I don't know if you experienced it the same way, but hearing about DAOs was really, really exciting. But I just don't think that this infrastructure is ready to take on, like, to replace nonprofit. So I think a lot of people abandoned maybe their nonprofit thought, like, oh, I have to get a board, I have to have, you know, bylaws, all those things, hoping that the DAO would sweep in. But I just don't know how far away we are. And I don't want to miss opportunities in the NFT space to be nonprofit.
When you're primarily based in the US, yeah, there are some other considerations for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
But there are other opportunities as a nonprofit in your, you know, for grants and things like that might open you up. So
yes,
that's definitely something to consider for sure. All right,
just another like
show this one last. I got to show all this beautiful beautiful bean footage, as these don't like to say, but the beautiful bugs. And our POAP today does have the bug on it, so get ready.
Oh wow.
Future developments we had on here: spin-off from the book, joining the metaverse and sandbox. That's exciting. And YouTube, possible, as we were talking about earlier, maybe some animation. Super exciting. Got to switch real quick to just give a shout out to our design services, POAPathon Design Services. If you are not as talented as some of our artists and you need help with a POAP design, we got you covered. So, you know, if you ever have one of those days, Doreen, where you need a POAP and you just can't get it done, we can help you out. Here was one of our, right? They do incredible work.
They're animated.
I know. They do incredible work. You've met Brunataub. It was one of the most recent ones, as well as Language DAO logo contest. We've had Coffee Hour POAP design for Nexus Mutual, and eMavericks Rory POAP design. Gateway to Mars. These are some of our POAP design winners. And this was like really cool. This Twitter post design, that was a first for us, I think, if I'm correct.
Yeah, no, that was great. Yeah.
Kind of different. So these were animated Twitter posts, and our POAP of the week comes from the Nexus Mutual Notional Coffee Hour. And our artist was Baracco. I think is that a first win for Baracco? I'm not sure. Might be. So that's exciting. And finally, Cryptogs Reborn. We hope coming soon. If you haven't yet collected all your 71, you better get moving. Weekly curation call, community call with POAP. So this is not in POAPathon's Discord, but it's in POAP's, and genetics is a primary feature in that call. Anything you want to share about that, genetics?
That's right. You know, we don't talk a lot about the biggest news in POAPs on this call, but on that call, we definitely do. And there is always some amazing and sometimes shocking news that we get to share on that call. So tomorrow evenings, if you're on this side of the planet, you get to listen to me. If you're not sick of me yet, I mean, come on. So
can't get too much genetics. Although on that call, you don't get to see the beautiful makeup. So
that's true. You just have to listen
to hear
me.
her.
So yeah.
Oh, our POAPathon newsletter is out. This is new. This is our second one, I think. And it is available you can find it on our Twitter feed, as well as, is it on our website as well? I believe, maybe, I think. So look for that. And special thanks to Doreen. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we can't wait to have you back. And I can't wait to see book 2. And now, get ready. The time has come.
I feel like we have a sponsor, maybe.
Oh, yes. So
next?
we need to go back to the very beginning. No,
I told you it's there. Hold on.
No, we need to go back to the very beginning.
We did the sponsor.
Nobody could hear it.
Oh. Okay, let me do the POAP and I will circle to the sponsor. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So we get your phones ready, get your apps ready. We have a really cool POAP today. I don't even have mine ready. I got to make sure it's working. And we're excited for you to have it. It is featuring the Bug's Life, a bug travels far, Bug's Life, a bug travels far. And the secret word is Buggy Rainbow, BUGGY, capital RAINBOW. And here it is. Secret word is Buggy Rainbow. Secret word is Buggy Rainbow. All right. Oops. Special thanks to Balancer. And let me circle back up to some of the stuff you guys missed at the beginning. Apparently, I didn't realize we were having sound issues, but let's just chat about Balancer real quick and make sure you guys know how much we appreciate you, Balancer DAO. You guys have been amazing sponsors this month, and we appreciate you very much. So we want to make sure that we hope that they will be joining us in the next couple of weeks to talk about VBAL. And I know they have some fun developments going on. If you haven't followed them yet on Twitter, please do @Balancer. And if you're interested in sponsoring POAPathon Live, please reach out to us on Twitter or via Gmail. So POAPathon@gmail.com. All right. Thank you, everyone. Ran a little over today because we had to circle back to the sponsor part that you guys couldn't hear, apparently. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Thank you. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you, V Dizzle. Thank you. And our regular
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Always fun.
Thank you. This has been fabulous. And have an awesome, what day is it? Tuesday. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
We're out.
Bye.